Welcome to Reinvention Revisited. And this is where we meet brilliant people who've changed direction, followed their passion, or turned a life twist into something new. And these are real stories to inspire your next chapter. And today's guest is Roger Milbourn. And Roger's main job in his career is financial planning. But it was his experience at a weekend retreat during a period of overwhelm that altered the direction of his path and leading him towards exploration into mindfulness and meditation. And Roger, really grateful that you're here in the reinvention rooms.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. I think it's a great initiative you've got going, so very pleased to be part of it.
Brilliant, thank you. And if you're, I mean, let's just jump straight in. In the intro there, and you were happy to share this with me beforehand. Do you want to give us a bit of background as to the lead up to you going on the retreat in the first place?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, happy to disclose, like many full-time workers with young children, post-COVID, I think there was a lot of stress or extra stress than normal. And I did find myself a few things going on, quite a few mental health challenges, and kind of thought one day I do need to take a few weeks off here to try and sort myself out, sort of recharge, reset. And I'd always thought that mindfulness and meditation was something that would be beneficial, but never really managed to get it off the ground. So I think having managed to get sort of a mini sabbatical from work, it was the golden opportunity. And I found a retreat which I thought was going to be mostly about meditation and mindfulness teaching. It was a little bit more intensive than that, but it really gave me a good grounding in what mindfulness can do and meditation being a practice of mindfulness.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and so I
just
managed to carry. Go on, yeah,
no,
sorry.
no, no. Sorry, I was just interested. Before we go into what it was compared to
Mm.
what you felt it was going to be, what were you going there with the intention of trying to get? Did you have sort of an idea of what you wanted to get out of it?
I think at that point it was very much a question of spending some time disconnected from the world to learn about meditation. That was really the key for me. I thought that I had some experience in meditation in the past and mindfulness. We did some couples counseling, mindfulness based many years ago, and the whole pretense of what it is was very attractive. So I was just trying to find somewhere I could go, disconnect from everything, and spend a few days learning how to practice that, whilst also having a chance to recharge myself.
Mm. And then when you arrived, when did you work out that it was, as you say, slightly more intense or different to how you expected?
Yeah, so there's a lovely place down in Dorset, and some people were camping, some people were in the main building, and I was helping out a girl who was setting up her tent, and she's, oh, what brought you here? I said, oh, really keen to try and do this meditation stuff and mindfulness, and learn more about it and have a chance to do, different things. And she sort of looked at me and went,
Mm.
but have you been to one of these retreats before?
Is that when
And
was that when you're thinking, oh dear,
yeah,
yeah, what have I signed up for?
it was just that few second pause that made me go, oh, what have I signed up for here?
Mm.
Um, yeah, but it was very different, but in a hugely beneficial way. So very pleased that I stumbled across it.
Mm. And in what way was it different?
So it's run by an organization called Zenways. So that the title was Breakthrough to Zen, and it's very much centered on Zen Buddhist principles. There is a lot of meditation that goes on during that time, which is great. But it's a silent retreat, aside from these times where you sit opposite people and you sort of share some of the stuff that you've been working through in a very safe environment. And I won't go into more specifics, but it's just you sort of keep on going. Time for reflection, mindful walks, meditation practice. You're sitting with a koan, which would be who am I? So it's quite a powerful question to sit with.
And is
And a
that
very
is
good
that one
tool.
question that you're you're set what for the whole of the time that you're there? Is that the one thing to
Yeah,
focus?
so you're
Well,
correct. Yeah, pretty much. So that's sort of the anchor
mm,
for any focus. So it could be meditation practice as a breath. You could use a question.
mm,
So that's what you had to sit with, and that was the sort of the focus point, and everything was built around that. And then you would have sort of one-on-one with individuals where you'd share some of the things you found out. So going into it, lots of trepidation and concern about it and worrying. But when you're in that kind of environment and you are switched off, you really do get to turn the attention on yourself and start listening to yourself,
mm.
and having a way of communicating that is great. And lots of contemplation, which can be a very big part of meditation practice.
Yeah, I can imagine as well that sometimes that can be quite traumatic. I mean, depending on what's happened in somebody's life, it can be uncomfortable, should we say,
Mm.
to just to have that time to reflect on yeah, things that have happened, things that might happen. Was it quite emotional going through that process?
Yes, so I have been on a few of those retreats now, and looking back, I'd certainly put myself at the upper end of the emotional reactions that
Mhm.
people have. But you could say it's like a way of, it's almost like 3 years of therapy condensed into 3 days. It's not a therapy experience, but in
Mm,
terms of the therapeutic nature of it. And yeah, but it really worked for me, whatever state of mind I was in going into the retreat. It just, I was, yeah, straight into it. And it just allowed me, after the initial hesitations and getting used to everything, then it just became a very safe space to explore everything that was coming up,
mm,
everything that I was repressing, probably denying in everyday life. It was, there was nothing else I could do to distract myself. So I just had to face up to it, but
yeah,
also allow myself to um, let it forth and manage it, I suppose.
yeah. And what was it like returning to, normal life? I mean, I had a 1 day uh, meditation day where it was a day of silence, and
Mm.
that was uh, quite dramatic when that ended, and then sort of you go back to sort of normality. What was it like after 3 days?
Uh, Being perfectly honest, I was somewhat anxious about returning back to normality. Not least because the mobile phone was off for 3 days. Thankfully, it was over a long weekend, so
Mm,
work-wise, not so much of a problem. But yeah, just this belief that maybe the world would have ended when I disconnected from it for a few days. Um, and then yeah, just returning back to the routine with a different mindset. Um, I think the key part of the experience is that they would say, what you're going through now is obviously very unusual. You wouldn't normally have this 3 day structure. So whatever you're feeling will dissipate over time, but it's certainly, yeah, I was a bit anxious about coming back in, but then I found myself coming back in with a different level of energy,
mm,
um, very much living in the present moment, able to take so much more in from my family and life. Obviously, the stress is still there, but having worked through so much during those few days, and particularly through the practice and meditation, really, really, yeah, it was good. I think
mm,
I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah.
yeah. And when did you start to feel that the outcome was more than what you went to on the retreat to gain personally for yourself?
Mm.
When did you start to think, maybe you're keen to explore this further, more widely?
Yeah. So one of the challenges um, was to try and do a meditation practice once a day for 100 days. So during the retreat, they talk a lot about trying to develop a habit. So it can be very tricky to develop a habit. And I think they've done some studies, say it takes about 60, 70 days or something. So just to be safe, the challenge was do it for 100 days. And then the theory being that you've got your habit well and truly
Mm,
established. And so that was great to have that and something to carry on with beyond the retreat, um, which was, it was a challenge, I'll be
yeah.
honest. I
Yeah.
managed about 96, 97 days out of the 100.
Oh,
So I felt
well done.
quite,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. In
I thought,
cricketing terms, you nearly raised your bat. Well, you raised it once. You nearly raised it twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so, but it was good. So I think that was, I mean, it's interesting. I think some people who've been there maybe tried to do some of the meditation practices before going. And then, so I think I'd luckily enough did it the right way around. Obviously, went somewhere where I could see the benefits straight away. Very obviously very intense 3 days, but
Mm,
then you come out and you think, well, no, I can, like, it's working. So
yeah.
that's the incentive to then carry on. Um, and I think one of the biggest sort of lessons experienced from that was knowing that was the challenge and realizing how different I was each day as to whether I wanted to do it, didn't want to do it, whether I could settle myself, whether it was just meditation where I'm telling myself, I don't want to be doing this,
Yeah.
I want to be doing something else. So just that change in how I was each day, that was another really big lesson that I've learned.
Mm. And has that impacted things, how you approach, challenges in life or things that you just don't want to do? Do you use that discipline that you got from meditation to help you with things like that?
Yeah, it's a definite shift in mindset. So keeping it simple, there's two sort of main types of meditation practices, especially in the Western world, the way it's been packaged up. So meditation for health and well-being, and then meditation for contemplation. So health and well-being is really good. Absolutely, lots of benefits from that. Meditation for contemplation, which definitely resonates more with me. So once you're used to be able to meditate and clearing the mind a bit, then absolutely bringing in some of the challenges that I'm facing into the meditation practice can be
Mm.
can be really useful. And I've also found through regular meditation practice, unfortunately, it's like anything, you do need to practice, and
Yeah.
it's needs to be regular to get the full benefit. But that just creates a bit more space from being able to, instead of reacting to something in the moment, it just gives you a bit of space to then be able to respond to it. So
Yeah.
whether that's dealing with a young child or something stressful at work, it's can apply across all areas of life.
Yeah. And what motivated you to want to teach it?
So it was really having seen how beneficial it was for me, and knowing that it can be difficult to keep a habit going, I sort of got a bit carried away, I think, basically, and booked a course thinking at the very least I'll learn more about it. Um, and I wasn't sure I would definitely teach it at the end of the course, but coming away from it, I thought, yeah, this is something that is so beneficial for me that I've got to try and at least share it with other people. I'm not reinventing the wheel, I'm not teaching anything new here. So it's taking all of these Eastern traditions that have been there for thousands of years and, you know, teaching them in a way that the Western world can incorporate.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was after that I thought, yeah, this is something that I need to try and do.
Yeah. And what's it been like when you are in front of a class and and you are teaching it? So all of the benefits that you've gained from it. Now you're in that position where you've got, I suppose, a degree of responsibility. You invite
Mm,
people to come, they come, they're there in front of you. What's it like the first time when you stood up in front of everyone and said, "Hey, this is mindfulness meditation."
yeah. It's so technically I can teach what I was trained to teach was an 8-week course. And the first time I tried to do that, yeah, I was there with all of the notebooks and the
Mm.
pens and the little stickers, people's names, and trying to be super organized with it all. And then I guess like anything new, you're trying to teach it from a script or something. Um, Bit of imposter syndrome, definitely. Um, but then when you realize that actually I've been taught to teach something, but in reality it's just people, isn't it? So
Mm.
what you're doing, what I kind of realized quickly is I'm facilitating um, a space for people to, if they haven't done it before, at least
Yeah.
just, open the door a little bit and learn a bit about some stuff, meet other people, like-minded people,
Yeah.
and then just the meditation itself. Yeah, it's taken me a long time to be able to lead a meditation without using a script, put
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, no one else knows if you made a mistake or an error.
Well,
So
that's it. All the
yeah,
eyes are
yeah,
closed. Then no,
exactly.
who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we've met. I've been a member of
Yes.
one of your classes. So I was invited by a mutual friend of ours to go to Water's Edge, and it was a male-only group, and
Yes.
it involved mindfulness meditation with you first, and then this cold water dip.
Yes.
Yes, and fortunately there was a sauna as well. Talk me through the reasons that you felt it was important to have a male group, and some of the
Mm.
barriers maybe that men have with
Yeah,
things like
yeah, sure. So firstly, you did very well. Just to
this.
put that out there.
Thank you. I didn't
So
stay in
yeah,
for as long as you did, that's for sure.
brief exploration, then in the sauna, and then
Yeah,
proper immersion into the cold water. I think it was probably about 4 degrees or something, wasn't it, that day or something?
yeah.
It
I know
was
there was
the
one
water
day
was
where
very
there was
cold.
there was ice on top,
Yes.
and that was yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting day, but strangely really enjoyable. But without the saunas,
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been a whole different ballgame. Yeah, so that was just trying to see if we could get a different kind of class going at Water's Edge, which is a wonderful venue just the other side of Pershore. Um, and there's lots of classes there, mixed classes or women's classes. And I know in this day and age, you know, got to respect some of all those identities properly, but
Yep.
from simply, do men ever really get together and talk openly and do stuff outside of the pub or maybe sports groups, teams, things like that? So the idea was that actually it made a lot of sense to try and double up, which was men's mental health, try and get men together in an environment where we're learning something, practicing something, which then allows us to, in theory, be a bit more relaxed and get ready specifically to go into a very cold lake and saunas, and just trying to create that sort of openness really, where men can be vulnerable and start to listen to themselves more, the bodies, the minds, and actually start talking about some of the things that come up, where I presume I'm not alone. My experience was very much to sort of bury them and deny them, and
Mm.
yeah, that leads to a whole host of challenges.
Yeah. And it felt like that in the room. I remember I've been to a few now, and it was interesting the conversations that we'd have at the start, where everyone's a bit nervous and you're sort of getting to know each
Mm,
other. It worked really well that the mindfulness was first, and there's that intrepidation. Everyone is thinking about the
yeah,
cold water, but
yeah,
actually just having that, it seemed like an hour, but I don't know, 40 minutes, maybe longer, of just being in that space of not having the phones not ringing and things like that. But then there was this camaraderie that was built as soon as we got in the tent, got into our swimmers, and
yeah,
we go in the water, then we go in the sauna. There's chat in the sauna, and you start breaking some barriers down. And yeah, it was really effective. And I don't think there are many things for men who, as you said, will often go to the pub, have a drink. So much is around alcohol, and
yeah.
this is something different. Where what's the obviously you're a financial planner, so
Mm.
that is your job. Um, how are you seeing this working alongside your job as a financial planner?
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. I guess with anything new, there's always a bit of a um, pipe dream about doing different things and where it could go. Um, so just trying to start teaching it and doing some classes, and Water's Edge been very lucky to get involved with them. And it's just, I think it's the mindset really. It's this. So if I look at my main job and I think of all the stresses that I have and have to manage on a daily basis with that, and most of it is obviously managing myself in those situations, then this practice of meditation really just changes my mindset to be more present, more open, perhaps even a bit more vulnerable with clients.
Mm.
So, uh, and I think some clients have seen that. They've not maybe known the journey that I've been on, but some of the comments about how I'm coming across as more relaxed, more confident, more in tune with where they are, So that certainly really helps me, I think. And one of the key things which we were taught about meditation practice is the irony, perhaps, that you won't necessarily notice the changes yourself because it's
Yeah,
so gradual and just get used to it. It's actually the people around you that would notice the changes in you, which generally would be along the lines of the fact that you seem a bit less stressed, you seem a bit more present, you seem a bit more happy,
yeah.
all those sorts of things.
And I'm
So it
sure as well with,
naturally means that I can do my role better.
yeah. And and it wouldn't surprise me if there are many people, many clients of yours who are no doubt under a lot of pressure.
Mm,
Um, there's a lot, there are frightening um, numbers about statistics about burnout and in the workplace and well-being, being quite poor in the workplace, that they would probably
yeah,
want to know, well, what's the change in you, and probably would want to have a piece of it. I think
yeah,
that probably more people that would be open to the idea if they see a change in somebody that they work with regularly. Um, because as we said earlier, there isn't as much sharing as there can be, and if you show vulnerability, often that it's allows somebody else to be
yes,
vulnerable back.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's the beauty of this sort of mindfulness men and chili dip. It's very much trying to put all that bravado and alpha male stuff to one side and
Mm.
just think, oh, okay. And as you say, there's a lot of camaraderie and um, it creates a very safe space very quickly, which just sets the scene. So if people do want to open up and
Yeah,
volunteer something, and just the process of doing that, I think is very beneficial for mental health.
yeah, I agree. And you set the conditions for that to happen. So, the environment that you create it's perfect. I think it makes people feel very at ease. Um, it's it doesn't feel well, you mentioned sort of woo-woo. It doesn't feel like you're doing anything woo-woo. It just feels very
Yeah,
practical. Very practical.
yeah, I think that's what some of the feedback there has been is that I'm just a
Yes.
normal bloke
Yeah.
working a normal job,
Yeah.
family, kids. I've just discovered something that's really helped me. I'm certainly not, I can teach, but I wouldn't say I'm a teacher in that sense. Whereas I see it more as I'm facilitating. So if I can create a space, as you say, for people to come together, and then the group sort of, with a bit of gentle guidance, looks after
Yeah.
itself, really.
Yeah. And also you stay pretty much the longest in the water. So you practice
Yes,
what you
yeah.
preach.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And I think I remember joking the first time with you when the first class that I'd done. You're talking about the gasp reflex, wasn't it? You're
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
breathe in and out through your nose during the meditation. If you can do that in the water, and then first time went in the water, then the instructor, the lifeguard, yeah, saying just breathe through your nose.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
so I am human after all.
And Roger, where can people find you if they are interested in this and want to be a part of the classes that you do run? Where can they find you?
So I do have a website, meditationtochange.com.
Mhm.
Don't do a huge amount of classes through that at the moment, but Water's Edge is certainly a place to check it out if I'm on your
Yep,
demographic. I'm assuming that would be the sort of event experience that you might want to have a look at. So yeah, just Google the Water's Edge and look for the men's mindfulness dip and sauna.
brilliant. Well, I will put those links in the reinvention rooms as well, so everyone's got those. And Roger, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for being so open and sharing your reasons
Hmm.
behind how you got into meditation. And
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I look forward to booking on another class now that the water's warmed up a bit.
That's it. Might even be a few paddleboards next time. You never
Yeah.
know.
Oh, lovely. Cheers, Roger.